Welcome to tutorial time. In that video, how to install the Cannondale Hollowgram SI crankset. This one right here. Just notice that this is not the SI SL2. It's not the lightweight one. The installation of those two, they differ. So be sure that you have the SI, the Hollowgram, with this spider and the screws in it. What you'll need for the installation is, of course, the bearing and the bearing shield that you see inside and that covers the bearing. Have those two installed on both sides, non-drive side and drive side, already beforehand, so you can begin with the installation. Now for the installation, we have a few spacers that are required before we can mount the crankset. A non-drive side spacer, we have a drive side spacer, we have those really thin 0.5 millimeter spacers. You should have up to 5 pieces of those, and then also a wave washer. But what the wave washer does, he basically compensates the play, and there will be some like swimming of the cranks in order to compensate for that play if you install this wave washer. However, if you know the width of your bottom bracket shell and you have installed already your cranks in the past, maybe you're already sure how many of those 0.5 millimeter spacers it requires in order to have no play and still a nice rolling crankset. So we go ahead and install the drive side spacer. Be sure to have applied some grease on your spindle, just a light film, and also on those teeth right here. Cannondale says to apply Loctite on those teeth, but I suggest if you don't have any creaking, then grease should be fine. If you have some creaking of your cranks, be sure to apply Loctite so it just locks everything up and nothing is moving at all. For the drive side, that should be it. This goes directly onto the bearing shield that is already installed here. Before installing the drive side, be sure that you have your chain already on the crankset. If you don't have a quick link and you forget your chain, then you would need to remove the cranks again and put the chain around. There we go, drive side installed. Next up, on the non-drive side, it would be this really thin washer that we are putting on, and the non-drive side spacer. And finally, the non-drive side crank arm. Be sure, of course, to have it in 180 degrees direction to the other one, but that shouldn't be that hard because you don't have that many possibilities. Then we can install the screw already. Be sure to have this little washer on the screw. This is really important. And for tightening the screw, you'll need a 10mm Allen key. The required torque for this screw is 40 Newton meters, but as I don't have torque wrench that big right now, I will just do it hand tight and then tighten it up in the shop, and we'll check for play afterwards. An easy way to check if your crank is running smoothly is to bend your derailleur forward in order to have less tension on your chain, and then just undo it from the crank, and then try to avoid any contact with the chain and the chain ring and spin the cranks. Otherwise, you can just try to spin it backwards and see how easily it spins. In that case, that's pretty good. You can use one finger and just use a light little push. Roughly, you can check your drivetrain efficiency. Thank you very much for checking out this tutorial. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to hit me up in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.